Welcome to this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Josh Dech. He is a holistic nutritionist, a gut specialist, and medical lecturer. Welcome to the show, Josh.
AJ, it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
You are welcome to the show. You are welcome to India in this online form. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we'll be talking about. We'll talk about gut health and digestive issues. So, Josh, first help us understand. You were a paramedic, and then now you are into a lot of holistic nutritionist and gut specialist. So, tell us about this transition. What made you come towards this side? And how should my audience understand you? Are you a doctor? Are you a functional medicine expert? Something so that exactly they would know who they are listening to.
So I am a holistic nutritionist, not a doctor, and I work in functional medicine, and I lecture at a functional medicine academy, helping work with doctors to teach the holistic side of gut health to medical doctors. And so I used to be a paramedic, and it just wasn't the career I wanted to do. And all of it kind of just happened. I meant to get in there. I wanted to help people be healthy. But I very quickly realized I wasn't working in healthcare. It was sick care. I was just taking care of sick people over and over until they died, and kept going back to the hospital to get more medication or new medication or bigger doses of medication. They never got better. And so when I left that career, I went into fitness, personal training. And I found one of my clients who came to see me. She was 57 years old. She was taking 17 pills and insulin with breakfast. She was on 9 pills with more insulin at bedtime. She had high blood pressure. She slept with a CPAP machine. She was on disability. Her whole body was just collapsing. I was 57 years old. By age 59, working together on nutrition and gut health and exercise, at age 59, she broke her first world record as a weightlifter in her powerlifting division. And she kept breaking records till she was 61. And I thought, there's obviously more to the body than just managing the breakdown of illness. How can we actually reverse this sickness and reverse these diseases so people can truly be healthy and their body can heal itself? So long and short, I went back to school. I became a nutritionist, and a lot of things in my career led me to specializing in the gut. But the short of it is that everything I did, whether it was PCOS, whether it was weight loss resistance, depression, anxiety, skin issues, no matter what I did in my career, it always tied back to the gut. And now I specialize in it.
Right, Josh. So you talk about, that gut health is connected to mental health, emotions, sleep, productivity, concentration, hormones, a lot of other things. So help us understand it from the point of a common person's perspective, so that they understand what you are trying to say.
Yeah, I often argue that our gut bacteria is more important than our very DNA that makes us up. AJ, you and I, as total strangers, we share about 99.9% of our DNA. You and I are cut from the same cloth, but the DNA of our gut bacteria, these microbes, how they're built up, 20 to 30% is all we share. And so it's way different. In the human genome, we have to keep in mind what makes all of your genetics. There's about 23,000 genes that make up the human genome. We have upwards of 3 million genes that make up our gut bacteria, different variants. We have between 1 and 2,000 strains, 7 to 9,000 species of those strains, which means we have up to 18 million different little bacteria living in our gut. Multiplied out, they make about 100 trillion, which means they are, on the average person, 2 to 3% of your entire body weight. For a 200-pound man, that's 4 to 6 pounds of your entire body is just bacteria, and they integrate with everything. And like I said, more important than our DNA. There's even studies proving, we know your gut bacteria produce vitamins and minerals. They interact with your moods. They produce chemicals that your brain needs to help it balance, help you sleep, be in a good mood, help you focus. They help detox and balance hormones. They do so much for us. And recent studies have even shown that we need gut bacteria to even have successful weight loss. In mouse studies, they've cleaned out the bacteria from these mice and put them on calorie deficits. So they're eating less calories, right? Just they need in a day. And those mice would not lose weight compared to those who had good gut bacteria. And so they directly impact everything in our lives. And it's really important people to understand how important they are and how much reverence we really need to have for our gut bacteria because they're amazing. And it's a science we're just learning about.
Right. Right, Josh. So I want to understand for the audience is that, especially I guess in India, we always have that focus on the gut health in a natural way, in the way we our food habits
Yeah.
are from the very beginning, either in
Ayurvedic
terms.
medicine.
Pardon?
I'm a big fan of Ayurvedic medicine. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and a lot of things, naturally now the world is waking up to a lot of the benefits of the things that Indian, system of food and all these things. And there might be different views on that, but this is what my understanding of it, because I keep on listening to a lot of my other guests also. They seem to understand and take a bit of more of the Indian ways of living that they have been. Be that as it may, I want to understand, especially from the Western point of view, from the US point of view, is that why is it that gut health is in such a bad position, if we can use that word? Why is it? When did it start? What are the reasons for the bad state of the gut? And when did it start? And why is it like that? So that then we can come to the cure part or the betterment of the gut
Mhm.
health.
Well, I would absolutely say that the United States of America is the gut health capital of the world, the gut disease capital of the world. And one of the reasons I say that, so personally, my specialty, I work in gut health. My specialty is inflammatory bowel disease, which is Crohn's and colitis. And the United States of America is less than 5% of the global population, but they have more than 50% of these cases of inflammatory bowel disease, which is the worst gut disease we can imagine. And we have to keep in mind there's a lot of things that do break down our gut. First and foremost, we have to look at the foods we're eating. A lot of these digestive diseases, they have been on the rise like absolute crazy over the years. If we look at inflammatory bowel disease, back in 1990, there was about 3 million cases, give or take, anywhere from 1 to 3 million cases worldwide. By 2020, we're upwards of 7 million cases. And in the same time, we've seen more processed food, more refined sugars. We've seen pesticide usage jump between 2 to 4 times, pesticide consumption go up 19 times. We've seen C-section births go from 7% in 1990 to 21% today, expected to be 29% by 2030. In natural birth, we need it. It covers the baby in bacteria. Even breastfeeding is really beneficial because it gives the baby all these bacteria and gut health byproducts and probiotics it needs. But most babies, 60 some percent, after 6 months are bottle fed, which is very inflammatory on their gut and on their bowel. We've also got a world full of chemicals and toxins. I mean, the Red Cross did a study. They took 10 freshly cut umbilical cords, completely random, and assessed them for chemicals. They found 287 pollutants, pesticides, consumer products, different chemicals in these newborn babies. 180 of those chemicals were known to cause cancer. 217 were toxic to the brain and the nervous system. 208 were known to cause birth defects and developmental delays. Not to mention that, but the average American consumes 100 pounds of sugar every single day. Alcohol consumption is up. Antibiotic use is up 43% in the last 20 years. We know medication use between the year 2000 and 2018 doubled from 544 billion to 1.2 trillion. I mean, fast food around the world is worth $731 billion a year in fast food. And so we're doing all these things that are brand new. And this is why I believe we're seeing all these diseases on the rise as high as they are. There's so much destroying our gut.
Absolutely. So who is responsible for this? Is it the industry? Is it the way people are looking at things, fast food, fast life,
Mhm.
fast everything? Is it because of that? Is it because there are people who talk about health? They actually don't care about health. They are talking about, not they don't care about your food habits. They only talk
Mhm.
about, fast money and through fast food. How does that work? Because you talk about this figure now, you would know where this figure is. 93% of the leading causes of death in the USA is gut related.
That's
That's a
right.
huge number.
It's
And and
shocking.
and, and if it is just gut related, you also earlier we talked about how gut health is connected to mental health, emotions, sleep, productivity, all aspects of our life. So if we look at it overall, this is going to be disastrous numbers in that, if you can look at it from in terms of the health perspective of
Yep.
of the, especially in the US.
Mhm. Yeah, we're reaching epidemic levels. I mean, these gut diseases are a sliding scale of severity. Over time, they get worse, just like wearing a pair of shoes without socks. If you're going for a run and that heel starts to rub red, raw, and it blisters and bleeds, same thing happens to our gut. And 72% of Americans complain of regular gut issues. We're talking constipation, diarrhea, pain, bloat, acid reflux, cramping, all these things. And so the connection is undeniable. Like you said, we know they're connected, but whose fault is it? I think it goes both ways. On one end, the government talks about health and how important public health is, but they approve these foods for use. Look at the United States. Like McDonald's French fries have 17 different ingredients, two of which are actual food, and one's a fake food being a seed oil. Whereas in the United Kingdom, for example, McDonald's French fries have three ingredients: potato, oil, and salt, even though it's not great oil. But in the 80s and 90s, it used to be beef tallow. So it was beef fat. And so they're even making things differently. But the governments approve these. The FDA approves these things and says you can have them. They're fine or they're generally safe. And they're clearly not. On the other hand, there's enough public demand. Again, it's that go lifestyle. We call it dashboard dining, where you're driving in the car, taking the kids somewhere, going to work, eating on the way. This is also hard on our gut. We're going for fast food. And so not only do the governments and policymakers allow these horrible toxins in our food, but we're also, as a public, willing to consume them, not really understanding the detriment. On top of that, we do have a high stress go lifestyle. And altogether, these things are a combination for the epidemic of gut disease we're seeing today.
Right, right. I don't know if I've missed, but I have not seen any protests around these things about health issues. About why then don't they go and have some some protests at the US FDA? Means they have not done things outside that system. People know about it, but inside that system they don't know about it.
Mhm.
I'm just trying to understand then why all other protests, for protest everything else, for protest something else happening in any other part of the world, but not about health. Why is health such low in priority? You have the elections coming on next year, and nobody seems to be talking about, people seem to be talking about a lot of other things which are perhaps important, but health, I guess, is important for almost everyone. And how will you bring that change in this whole in this whole scenario, and people are liking the dashboard culture, as you said, dashboard dining?
Mhm. Well, right now, one of the things that I believe is the primary driver, sickness is profitable. Sick people are very profitable because you can get them on a lifetime subscription of medication, and that's now a customer forever. Whereas somebody who comes in and gets healed and gets healthy, see, especially in North America, your doctor has 7 minutes, 8 minutes with you. Go in, quick conversation. They take your symptoms, they give you a diagnosis, they give you a drug, and send you on your way. But that's sick care. Healthcare takes time. It's individualized. It's not protocols because everyone's unique. It takes time to dig in, to do medical histories, to do trial and error, to let the body heal itself rather than have this pill and a quick fix the symptoms. And so the reason we see these protests, I believe, is that protesting is sexy, right? These things that we're seeing out there, we all want to protest and fight for a cause, but we're being told by the media what to fight for because guess what else is profitable? War. Guess what else is profitable? Famine. All these things that they're pushing in the media, hatred, racism, these things. Children aren't inherently born racist. We're taught to be racist. And so through that, we have divide, and division breeds contempt. Contempt breeds war. War is profitable. So is sickness. So to tell people on the news all of a sudden, well, all these foods are bad, let's educate you, it just wouldn't be as profitable. And that's the way I look at it, unfortunately. And so my job really is to educate. And this is why I'm doing these shows and being here with you, AJ, is just to help people understand the importance. Like we said, your gut is connected to 93% of the leading causes of disease in North America: heart disease, cancers, strokes, respiratory issues, diabetes, Alzheimer's, kidney, liver disease, Parkinson's, even influenza, or something we call septicemia. All these things can be tied back to the gut, either responsible for or they have a direct player in. And my job is just to educate people, anyone who will listen, anyone who wants to understand the importance of gut health, that they can then make informed decisions. They can decide, do I want to eat this fast food knowing how bad it is for my gut and it may contribute to Alzheimer's down the road? That's your decision. At least it's informed. But up till now, unfortunately, most people don't have the information. Once you have it, you can do whatever you want with it. But it's important you do have that so you can have the choice.
Absolutely, you have the choice. Individuals do have the choice if they listen to the right advice, if they listen to their minds, if they listen to the nature. So, what would you suggest, or you suggest to your clients, or patients? I don't know if I can use the word, but all those people who want to listen to you, how they can take back control of their health in their own hands.
The easiest thing we can do is just go back to our ancestral roots. I mean, if we look at a lot of indigenous tribes who still live off the land, they still walk around barefoot. They're farmers, they're hunters and gatherers still. They're not in these concrete buildings and shopping at supermarkets. They don't have these diseases. They don't know what strokes are. They don't know what heart disease is. They've never seen diabetes, obesity, Alzheimer's. They don't have these issues because they eat real food. Simply put, I don't know I know, especially in India, maybe it's more markets, maybe the cities have more grocery stores. I've never been, but here, for example, our grocery stores, the whole perimeter is meat and fruit and vegetables and like healthy foods. Everything down an aisle is just full of packages and process and food coloring, food dyes, sugars, artificial ingredients that never existed. And so these diseases we've had for less than 100 years, they've been around the same time a lot of this fake food has been. And so there's a correlation we have to look at. And so the best thing we can do is go back to our ancestral roots, eat real food. If your great, great, great grandmother would recognize the thing you're eating, it's okay. If she wouldn't, we shouldn't be eating it. It's that simple.
Absolutely, absolutely. New dishes are welcome with the old ingredients, but something that is, totally does not make sense, obviously. But in a nutshell, Josh, just if you can tell people, both from the US point of view and for people who are in other parts of the world, what are the few things in their day-to-day life that they can take care of? And beyond that, whenever they feel bad, when is the best time to approach a person like you?
So first thing we can do, really, really easy, like we said, go back to real food. Number two, cook your food, because if you have gut issues, cooked food is a lot easier to digest. Number three, take a breath. So many of us are eating on the go, fast-paced lifestyles. What it does, it puts your body into this fight flight mode. We want to be in rest, digest. And that means we're producing more stomach acid. So we're breaking down our food. The food can move through our gut really nicely when we're resting. So sit down, have have a conversation, take a few breaths before you take a bite, chew your food slowly and take your time. Those are the easiest things that we can do to improve our gut, as well as avoiding things like gluten, sugar, alcohol, processed and refined foods. Those are number one. And if someone's feeling really bad and they want to reach me, the first thing I recommend is just check out the podcast. That's called Reversible. That's Reverse Able, the ultimate gut health podcast. And we talk to some of the world's most famous doctors and health experts all around the world talking about gut health, how our gut affects our world and how our world affects our gut, so we can have the healthy lives we deserve. That's the number one thing. And if they need help, there's lots of methods through reversiblepod.com. That's the podcast, reverseablepod.com. Of course, you can always reach out, but I do recommend check out the podcast first, see if it makes sense to you, and go from there.
Absolutely, absolutely. And would you like to share them any of your social media handles so that they can connect with you easily?
Yeah, of course. So you can reach me. That's just at joshdech.health. At Josh Dech. You can see my name on the screen there, .health. Through Facebook and Instagram is where I'm the most active. And if you guys need help as well, go to reversiblepod.com/free. And I made some free programs anyone can access to help with their gut health.
Absolutely. Absolutely. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thanks for having me, AJ.